Welcome to the Thriving Farmer Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Kilpatrick. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and celebrate sustainable farming. We believe that you can build a profitable, sustainable farm that gives you true farm freedom. Join us as we talk to farmers, innovators, educators, and entrepreneurs to glean their top takeaways in business and life. Hey, Thriving Farmers, Michael Kilpatrick here with yet another episode of the Thriving Farmer Podcast. And today my guest is a little bit different. It's King Whetstone, who is the director of USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service, Northeastern Region. He received his BS from Prairie View A&M University in agricultural economics in 1998. Prior to becoming the regional director, he served as the director for the New York field office and the deputy director in the Hawaii field office. In addition to leading the Northeastern region, Mr. Whetstone is a regular contributor to Lancaster Farm News and officiates Division I college basketball. He currently resides in Mechanicsville, PA, with his wife, April, and daughter. Welcome to the podcast, King.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Yeah, so you also officiate basketball. That must be in your spare time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, spare time. I get an opportunity to, I've been doing that for about 15, 16 years now. And yeah, that's something that I enjoy doing, but definitely on my spare time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that must get a little good exercise up and down the court, I guess.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me.
Yeah.
We always kid that in college, they don't age. So they're always 18 to 22, but officials, we get older. So we try to keep up with that age.
Yes. All right, so you're here to talk about the census, and I mean, I think the first on a lot of people's minds is, what is the Census of Agriculture?
Yeah, thanks for that question. I mean, it really, we say it's a complete count, and that's critical, a complete count of U.S. farms and ranches, and more importantly, the people who operate them. So we're not only concerned about, your production on the farm and what you're growing or the livestock that you have, but we're really concerned too about the people who's operating these operations and even small plots of land. And we're talking rural or urban. And you count if $1,000 or more of ag products were produced or sold or normally would have been sold during the census year. And we try to collect data from all of those that meet that requirement.
So let's talk about that, because I know some people are like a little hesitant because they don't want the government to know their business. But I think, the purpose is just to get an idea of what's happening so that you can make sure that the correct dollars are allocated for different programs.
Yeah, it is so critical on how this data is being used. And it's confidential, so no one report is ever exposed. It's aggregate total, and it's the only source of uniform and comprehensive and impartial ag data. And that's for every state and every county. A lot of times we don't, through our federal program, we're not able to publish county level data because of the minimum responses that we get. But through the census, we're able to publish data at the county level that's critical, and that's tied back to some important decision makings, including foreign policies and programs that impact the producers.
Okay, so all right, so let's expand on that. So who uses this kind of data that is being produced?
Well, number one, the producers can use it to make informed decisions about their own operation, including production practices to marketing. Companies and cooperatives use the data to determine where to locate facilities that will serve ag producers. I was just reading in an article where here in Pennsylvania, where I'm located, that they're building this organic facility. Through our numbers, Pennsylvania ranks third in the nation when it comes to sales of organic agriculture. And the governor here in Pennsylvania is investing $1 million in an organic facility. But in that read, they quoted our numbers as a factor of why they're going to do that. And their plan is just to increase the awareness and the support of the organic growers here in Pennsylvania. So that was awesome. Community planners use the information to target needed services to rural residents. And as I mentioned, legislators use the census data when shaping foreign policies and programs. And in 2017, we noted that the age of the farmer was increasing. And so we've seen a lot of effort from the government and legislators to really target young producers to get more involved in agriculture as a result.
So what is the average age of farmers? Do you have that kind of information?
Yeah, I believe it's around shy of 57. I think it was
Okay.
56, but yeah, it's could be higher by now. We'll see when the data comes out in February from this census.
Okay. So then the data for this census is going to come out next February.
February, yep, mid-February.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So some people have asked about some people get multiple surveys. Why would that happen?
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons. Some because of I would say the magnitude of this survey. Yeah, think about it. We sent out over a couple of million of these because we're trying to get all the producers, and so sometimes it's a timing thing, Michael, where you have returned your census, but we didn't get it in the database in time, and so the system is still showing that it's missing. And so when we do a survey this big, we're going to always do a couple of mailings, right?
Aha.
To ensure. So it could be just a timing thing. It could be you have multiple operations, right? And if we sent you to an error, then you can help us to true that up and just say, no, I only have one operation. But for the most part, you're probably getting two because of the timing. You probably responded. We didn't get it in the system, and we did that second mailing. But keep in mind, if you've already completed the census, even if you do get another one, there's no need to respond again.
Gotcha. Now, one of the things too is for like homesteaders and that sort of thing, unless they've done $1,000 or more in sales, they typically don't need to fill that out.
Yeah, so if you get the census, here's the key. Because we do such an extensive list building, there's a possibility that non-farms did get in our lists. So because we get lists from different sources, private and public, and sometimes they don't tell us if they're actually a producer or not. They may say that they're a potential. So we still will send those because we want to have a complete count as possible. But if you get the census, because it's required by law, we say, please still send it back. That will prevent us from calling you or sending you another mail. And all you have to write is, I don't farm, or just give us some indication, and we'll take you out of our list.
Yeah, not an active farmer.
Yeah.
Now, you can fill this out by mail, but is there any online versions as well?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, we highly encourage you to fill it out online because it's easier. And it has the easier skip patterns as well. And it helps you to get through the questionnaire a little bit more efficiently if you do it online.
So you don't have to fill out every single question. It'll kind of help you guide you the way through that.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's say someone is a farmer, they never got a survey and they still want to participate. Would they just go to the website?
Yeah, please do. You can go to NASS, www.nass.usda.gov. You can sign up to be counted. There's phone numbers as well that you can call to request a questionnaire. So if you feel like you meet that definition and you didn't get a questionnaire, please reach out to us so we can make sure you're counted.
Now, one of the questions I'm wondering is what the last census, when was that? Was that
2017?
Okay. And what were the big surprises for you guys as, people that are receiving the data and what was going on with the data?
Yeah, so we never are surprised by the data because, and I say that because we're going straight to the farmers and ranchers, right? And so they're telling us the information. And sometimes because of our federal program, some of the major commodities, your corn, your soybeans, your wheat, we do that annually, quarterly, we're collecting that data. So we have a good feel of that. But now the things that we normally don't collect, right, only in the census, when we're talking about demographic data, we saw a spike in the number of Hispanic farmers. We saw a spike, the way we collected the data, we saw a spike in the number of women that were involved in agriculture. So I don't know if it was more so of a surprise, but we did kind of modify the questionnaire so we could capture who was involved in the production. And we saw once we made that modification, more females were being captured in the way we designed it.
Yeah, that's good to see the diversity.
This podcast is sponsored by Small Farm University, the go-to resource for gardeners, homesteaders, and farmers around the world. Small Farm University delivers classes online and on demand with training on how to grow crops and how to grow a profitable farm business that serves you, your family, and your community well. Applying what you learn in SFU could save you thousands of hours and thousands of dollars. And it can save you the agony of costly mistakes some make just because they don't know what they don't know. Delivered by real farmers with hands-on experience and expertise, it is unique in its approach, using the ripened method for growing and building a farm or farm business. Here are a few highlights of what SFU has to offer in its growing library of resources. Find your perfect farm property. Whether you're renting or purchasing, this course guides you through vetting the farm property and determining how or if it suits your business needs. We give you the secret sauce for what makes a profitable farm property and help save you thousands of dollars. Start your farm intensive. Fleshing out your farm idea, craft your one-page business plan, and discover the right funding options for your business. Use our business templates, worksheets, and calculators to figure out the numbers as you go. Farmers Market Success System. Learn how to attract and convert customers by building an unstoppable marketing and business system for your farmers markets. Production Mastery Series. Learn all about growing, harvesting, and drying greens. Learn about tunnel building and take specialty classes such as brand new and very popular Elderberry Masterclass. We include real-life examples and calculators for figuring out fertility rates, how much money you are actually making, and where your profit is coming from. Business systems and marketing courses. Learn about the SFU Ripen Formula for Success, develop your marketing plan, and join in for behind-the-scenes tours of real farm businesses. Learn the systems you need to run your business well and how to hire a team to help you. And learn how you can add value to what you produce to generate even more income with minimal additional time and expense. In addition, members of SFU get access to the Growing Farmer Summits on demand with over 100 sessions of targeted areas of interest to farmers. These annual online events have attracted over 100,000 people from around the world, and they are included in your SFU membership as a bonus. SFU membership includes access to a private member group, monthly group Q&A sessions, and even one-on-one coaching sessions where you can get your questions answered and find the support you need. To learn more, visit growingfarmers.com today.
Another question was about, I think, the CRP program. So if folks are in that, even if, let's say they have farm land, but they're not actively farming it, but they do have CRP land, they definitely need to fill that out as well.
Yeah, and that's can be a little confusing as well. CR payments are essentially considered farm income. So even if the land isn't being used to produce agriculture, and we have questions on the Ag Census specifically about CRP and other government payments. And if you only have that, it'll only take you a few minutes to complete the census if that's your case.
Yeah. Gotcha. Let's see here. So the website, if folks need to go, is NASS, so nass.usda.gov.
All
right. All right. And what other questions do you think people are asking?
Yeah, there are probably some may wonder why do I need to fill this out? Right. I mean, any survey, Michael, we're not just talking about the census. We're also talking about our other federal surveys as well. And I tell you, data is knowledge. Having this information to be able to tell the story, it's getting even more critical. You wouldn't imagine the amount of calls that we receive from different universities, different agencies wanting us to collect more data, more detailed data. And one of the issues we have is what we call response burden, where farmers are getting contacted not only by the federal government, but different agencies to collect data. And so they get, they reach a point too where they see our information and they probably don't want to fill it out. They're probably tired of filling out surveys, regardless of where it comes from. And so I try to put the emphasis on this data is being used in ways that are going to benefit the producers and the ranchers. And so we just really try to encourage them to, if you get a survey from USDA NASS, to complete it. And if you have concerns or issues about the amount of surveys that you're getting, you can always contact us to talk about that. And We have enumerators in the field. We have nice ones that call you, but I can't stress enough the importance of the response rates, because the more data we get in, the easier it is for us to set accurate estimates. When we have low response rates, we do have statistical methodology in place to account for that, but nothing beats an accurate report from the farmers and the ranchers and producers.
Yeah, because if you
Yeah.
see a rise in apple growers in the state, that means there may be better allocation of funds for research around apples.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they're taking that data and making critical decisions, as we mentioned about organic agriculture here in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, yeah. I know one of the biggest programs, and it's actually not even through the USDA, it's through the NRCS, is I forget, is NRCS part of USDA?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's a sub program, but the high tunnel program. And I know we've been recipients of those funds a couple of times, and just how effective that is to help farmers get some more covered space and some protection there. But I guess my biggest thing would say with that is that it'd be helpful if there was more education around how to use tunnels. Because I do see a lot of times where a tunnel is, put up and they don't know either how to use it effectively, or it just sits there and never actually gets really too much done with it. So educating folks on how to use them would be super helpful.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned our sister agencies like FSA, NRCS. And so, if you talk to those employees as well, they can give you all kind of examples on how they use NAS data to make decisions there too. We actually have them when we hire new employees, we invite them to our meetings so, they can see how important the importance of what they do when they're setting these estimates, how it has an impact even on our other agencies that we work so closely with.
So let's talk about how the data then, so you guys do this survey every 5 years. So then
census,
census. So like between the census, I'm assuming you're just digesting, figuring out how to do a better survey census the next time.
Well, I wish that was all we had. We conduct over 400 to 500 surveys annually. So now, of course, we have a team that strictly focuses on the census, and they're already working on the 2027 census. But I mean, annually, we're collecting data on cattle. We do a weekly broiler. We do a monthly chicken and eggs. And so if you look at our website, you will see a multitude of surveys that we conduct. But I think it's around 400 to 500 surveys that we do. Now, I say that, but one survey, such as our agricultural production survey, we're conducting that every quarter. Right?
Gotcha.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, we're constantly collecting data and trying to get the accurate information out.
Interesting. That's fascinating. Yeah, because I'm going on right now and I can do a statistics, and I'm looking at crops, horticulture, bedding plant totals, and let's see what it spits out for me. I think it gave me a units, like I think it's 3.4 billion bedding plant total sales in 2021. Wow. That's a lot of money. Bedding plants.
Yeah, we have a plethora of data. I mean, we're modernizing a lot of our technologies, Michael, but currently we use a system called Quick Stats.
Okay.
That's a database, and you can view data on the state level, you can view it on the county level, and this Quick Stats has all of our survey data in this database. And if you know how to extrapolate data, if you know what you're trying to get to, that's a very valuable tool. But again, sometimes it's not so user friendly because of the amount of data. But we're currently undergoing a new dashboard for data users to be able to extrapolate that data just a little easier, make it a little user friendly for them.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now I'm looking at beet statistics.
Yeah.
And actually the beet processing production in tons has fallen. 1999, it was 117,000, and now it's down to 111,000. So, but I'm assuming that's just something that's not like beets are not something that's huge for you guys either.
Well, yeah, it depends on who's collecting it. I'm thinking you may be looking at the national report. I don't have that in front of me, but any commodity, that's the value of our website. And sometimes I get a call. I get calls all the time. Can you give me the last 10 years of yield in Pennsylvania for corn? Things like that. And obviously, I can't just run those numbers on the top of my head. But this database helps us with customers to be able to, if they can't get it for themselves, for us to pull it for them, for them to use it. Yeah.
So this specific one, the last date is in 2001. And is that just because for some reason you decided that wasn't pertinent information to keep gathering, or?
Yeah, was that beets?
Yeah, this is beets production measured in dollars. So I'm just assuming it's not a huge crop.
Yeah. So what happens after each census, and you will see it after the 2022, the 2022 census, we do a program review.
Okay.
And from that program review, we may add or subtract from the commodities that we collect. Some go out of the program, and that could have been the case with beets, and some come into the program. So we really evaluate, and a lot of it, of course, is budget and resource driven as well. But after the census, we do a program review, and sometimes certain commodities are discontinued.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at head lettuce now, and head lettuce went from 120 in 2018 down to 97 in 2022. So head lettuce is falling. I mean, that is within 6 years by 14 or 15%, which is really interesting to see that. Now, I bet if I found like greens or like salad mix, I want to see if they actually show a salad mix. They don't. They just have greens. So I wonder if I pull greens, that will show a pretty big increase. That's just going to be interested to take a look at that real quick here. The last of that was 2001. So I'm wondering, like a salad mix, if that's why that's not being looked at. But, this is collard greens.
Okay.
Only 14,000 acres of that. Yeah, collards aren't super huge, I don't think. But it's fascinating to be able to look at all that stuff and just be able to, because it's helpful to farmers to have this information too. If you're thinking of trying a new crop, well, is it actually something that's actually, worth growing?
You got it. And that's exactly how they use the data. And in fact, if there's something that we're not asking, Michael, we actually have an opportunity for anyone to make suggestions to our program. You can go on our website, fill out a question about adding things to our questionnaire. We work with different clients. If we're not collecting data through our federal program, we'll go through what we call an external project agreement to collect that data on their behalf, if it works out. So we always are getting feedback from those that need the data and depend on it.
And you're actually looking at trends too. Like one of the trends I'm looking at right here is cold storage. And so you have, where it's located. They said 2 billion cubic feet by 1997 is what was, and I'm sure it's way more than that now. But that's fascinating information to see that, and just trying to understand kind of like how things are growing and moving and changing in the ag world. Oh yeah.
We track it. We try to, as much as we can. We try to get you the data you need.
All right, King. Anything else before we go?
Well, I know you have a nice following and those that listen, but I just want to, personally thank the producers that have responded to the census, and thank the producers that have responded to our other surveys, because they know the importance as well. And for anyone that's been hesitant to respond to a USDA NASS survey, I just hope this discussion helps everyone to realize how important the data is. Ag counts, that's our motto, but we can't be successful as we have been over these decades without the cooperation from the farmers and ranchers. So I definitely want to thank them and you too, Michael, for this opportunity through the podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah. King, thanks so much for coming on.
All right.
So there you have it, another episode in the books. So I'd love if you would hop on over to iTunes and leave us a rating and a review. Those mean everything to us. We love to hear what you're thinking. If you have a podcast guest that you can recommend, please pop on over to the Thriving Farmer Podcast website and leave us a review. That's thrivingfarmerpodcast.com.